All right, guys, welcome back to Welshcare. This is episode number 32. 32. I could do this properly. 32. There we go. So today's episode is a very special one. This one is more catered towards another deep dive into mental health and also fitness, and as well as just overall quality conversation with someone who is a very motivational figure, who is very disciplined, very strong. And especially for women, I feel that she is someone who is very important to be not only following, but, have as a role model, because she sets the standard and she breaks boundaries way past limits that I have ever seen someone uh like herself to go through what she has gone through. Uh Today's episode with Jaycee is going to be a very impactful one. It's going to be a very heavy episode also. So if there's anything that you guys can relate to here, feel free to, talk about it in the comments. You're more than welcome to. And don't forget to like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. So without further ado, I'm gonna stop yapping over here and I'm gonna let's get this conversation going. I can speak English. Here's my conversation, Welshcare episode number 32 with Jaycee. So today, another one of my, want to say, motivational figures that especially I get a chance to see in action at Unique. She's one of the most physically strong women I've ever met also, but emotionally and spiritually intelligent. Raw conversations are easy, and want to have her on. I'm gonna let her introduce herself and let her talk a little bit about what she does.
Thank you so much. So my name is Jaycee, Jaycee. I am a strength training athlete. I do powerlifting. I've competed in several meets, and it's a huge passion of mine. I started lifting about 7, 8 years ago now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Around that same time frame, I took lifting serious as well.
So. Yes, around like 2013, 14, when fitness kind of started to blow up a little bit.
Yeah.
It started off just I was running a lot. I wanted to lose weight. I feel comfortable with my body. I felt insecure. Just mentally I was in a really depressive state, and running helped me a lot. But then I turned to lifting because I figured it was a different way to train. I like to challenge myself. That was one of my biggest things. And
okay.
It translated into that, and I just kept going and taking it further. I like to push the envelope. So that's where that came from. And
it's definitely an understatement of what you're able to do. And seeing it firsthand is incredible also. Just I've only known you for a very short amount of time also, but just seeing the develop, you just posted recently this transformation. I didn't even know that that's like, thin at one point. Like you were that much of a, I don't want to say twig to disrespect, but I don't. But I,
you could
like,
say it.
I don't mean in a disrespectful state at all whatsoever. But at the same time, and then just now, like, spoiler alert, it was 415, correct?
Correct.
She deadlifted 415 a couple weeks ago, and it was just mind blowing, because that's also, correct me if I'm wrong, like you said before, that same day that you never pulled over 4 before.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Mind blowing. That's mind blowing.
It was definitely a mind obstacle that I overcame. I'm sorry, a mental obstacle. That's
sorry, that's you meant like jibber jabber and all that shit. It's all right.
I've never. It's so crazy because sometimes you doubt yourself and you don't see that you're able to overcome certain things or like mental blockages. But that day was really special to me, between the support and everything, and just having so much love around me, and the energy was just insane. So you couldn't not pull a PR that day. You know what I mean? The energy was just there. So it was amazing.
Before that, like, when was the last time you attempted to pull over 4?
Honestly, like a month prior. 405 didn't come off the ground. It was really frustrating.
Wow.
Because the past couple of years have been really tough for me. So I got it back into lifting about a year and change ago. I stopped for a couple months because I really couldn't do it. I was panicking. I was having anxiety, and just the thought of putting the bar on my back was daunting. Like I was getting panicked just from going into the gym gave me panic attacks. It was the scariest thing ever. So from going from training every day to having that like no days off mentality to then not being able to even pick up a bar was the scariest thing in the world because that's my passion, you know?
Right.
So that was very scary for me. So I just got back into it like a year and change ago, and it's really cool to go from that mindset of feeling so weak and just not myself to then conquering that. You know, that was very powerful for me mentally.
Yeah, and absolutely. And you saw the emotion in your face, and yet, like afterwards, how much that really didn't mean to you.
Yes.
At the end of the day, just
Yeah.
because you've been battling so long, and the fact that never even pulled over four, and then you pulled four, not only 405, but then pulled 415 right after that is very motivational for not only the fact that you did it back to back, but not women are so intimidated by the bar. They're so
Yes.
intimidated by weights in general, and you're crushing that standard.
Thank
Like not even that standard, like the what's the oh my god, the stigma. Like you're annihilating the stigma of that, you know, women can't be strong naturally, and you're crushing it just by not only just staying as consistent, but you're in the gym, but you're also staying consistent outside the gym as well.
you. Yes.
What is the process out? I've seen it in the gym. I see all the work in the gym. So what is the process outside of the gym like for you in general?
When it comes to training or in general, just to live the
Both.
lifestyle.
So
Okay.
like during, especially this, you went through a real aggressive training cycle, I assume, to get
Yeah.
ready for this competition. So what was your preparation behind getting ready for the competition, and then just being consistent afterwards?
Okay. So as far nutrition is really important for me. Well, for it should be for everybody, you know,
Yeah.
getting the proper meals in. If you're not eating properly the way you're supposed to, you're just not going to perform. And that's the whole thing. You know, I've noticed it with myself the past couple of years. There was a point where I wasn't focused on my nutrition. You could see the difference
Hmm.
100%. So nutrition is super key. Creatine. Creatine is my best friend.
Okay. Okay.
I can't go without my creatine. Getting enough hydration, that's really important for me. Mobility, being able to be mobile is so important for longevity. So that's something that I really, really focused on. It's a game changer completely.
You already know. You already
You're
know. I
really
mean,
big on
yeah,
this.
you already know I preach that shit.
Yes,
Mm.
100%. So it's deeper than just the strength. Outside of that, it's so important to take care of your body because it's deeper than just the weights. You know, it translates over, but you really have to take care of your body. I like focusing on athletics, being agile, being strong, being mobile. It's so important to me. So all these things matter and it all makes sense in the end, as far as strength goes. Um, Also for me, just being mentally clear is so important for me. You know, I wake up in the morning and I try to make sure that I don't look at my phone first thing in the morning because it's so chaotic.
Hmm.
And I really had to work on that. I struggle sometimes, but it's really important for me to do that in the morning, not to be so cluttered with like your news feed and like who's doing this or who's doing that.
Yeah, the world
Just
doesn't deserve your attention the second you wake up. You
exactly.
deserve your attention the second you wake up.
Exactly. So tending to your emotions, how are you feeling? Like checking in with yourself is so important. And that's something that I've been doing since I started suffering with my mental health. Really being in touch with myself is super important. So that's really made a big difference with my training, you know, to be present. If you want to be present during your workouts, you really have to focus during the day on your mind. Where are you? How are you feeling? That kind of thing. So
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is the reason why, like, I know for a fact, like, this conversation was going to be, you know, it's going to not only go into this deep realm of mental health,
mhm.
but it's also going into a place where I hope inspires the individuals who say not only struggle with the same mental health, uh, not I want to say disabilities, I want to say mental health, not even to say disorders, because at the end of the day, you're with them for life. So it's like you're basically just with your mental health in general,
Yes.
trying to steer away from as much negative, you know, stigmas around it as well, and wording around it. So
Mhm.
that's the little psychological, you know, stuff with that. But it's in the whole phone thing, especially.
Mhm.
I find that our generation, we tend to have a little bit more of a harder time just because we were not only the trial generation, because the smartphones came out when we were in middle school, so
Yeah.
that's just around the same age where you're starting to become a little bit more socially aware of everything that's going around you, and friend groups and all this stuff, starting to become a little more invested in the real world. And from there, social media and everything else just accelerated our addictions towards these devices, just because we became so used to talking to people through here, which is also the reason why I want to really have more people onto the podcast or just random conversation in general, just because that addiction towards it. It's like the waking up and then immediately giving the world your attention,
Yes.
immediately giving the world your energy. That's such a, I want to say, no, it's like, I don't want to disrespect anybody with it, but it's a waste of time in the morning
Absolutely.
when you can be more productive.
Hmm.
Instead of you immediately picking up your device, start your day with a little bit of a stretch, maybe step outside, practice grounding if you practice that, meaning that you just, if you have grass outside, just take your socks off, walk around the grass, ground yourself, or start your day with an educational podcast, start your day with morning prayer, start your day with just thanks. I've said it before on here that the first four things I do, well, the first four things I say when I wake up is I'm thankful for myself, I love myself, I appreciate myself, all praise to Most High, thanks be to God for the day.
Beautiful.
That is immediately the first thing I do before I even look at my phone, before I even go use the bathroom, before my feet even leave the bed.
Hmm.
It's literally the first thing I do, and been doing that now for almost 2 years.
Wow.
And it's a different way for you to start your day, just because you're starting your day off not only for for yourself, because you're loving yourself and you're doing this for yourself,
Hmm.
but you're also giving praise to the energy from whatever energy you may believe in or whatever religion you may have. You're giving praise just for another day in general, and starting your day with praise, you tend to have that little bit more of a balancing energy towards the positive side
Absolutely. Yeah.
instead of the negative things you'll see from your phone.
Yes, exactly. Gratitude. So important.
Gratitude attitude, that's the number one
Yes.
thing.
Hmm.
Now, when it comes down to lifting, when did you officially start lifting heavy? Like lifting past, because some girls are scared to lift past 135, 145, scared to even touch 200 sometimes.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to not only go heavier, but stay consistent with it at the same time?
I started lifting heavy in late 2014, early 2015. Like I said, previous to that, I had ran 2 half marathons.
Right.
So I just loved the sense of moving. My body gave me peace, just suffering from so much anxiety and depression for many years. It brought me to a place of grounding. I genuinely felt happy in that moment. And I'm like, all right, how else can I engulf in this moment, become more of myself, become more powerful within myself? And it translated into now lifting weights in 2014, 2015. And I just fell in love with the idea of getting stronger. And as my physical vessel felt stronger, my mind started to feel more, I started to feel better as well. You know what I mean? It all came together and I'm like, wow, okay, so I want to keep pushing myself. What can I do? And then it turned into, okay, I can compete. Okay, this is so cool. Like it all kind of like started to add up and I'm like, all right, I could really do this. Um, and I became very empowered by myself. You know what I mean? Like I looked at myself and I'm like, I'm not the same little girl that I was 3 years ago. I'm actually a lot stronger than I used to be mentally as well. The
Mm.
things that I would kind of accept years prior, I would no longer accept because my mind started to also catch up to that physical strength. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
So that was really cool to me to see that process.
it's a crazy transformation that a lot of people don't expect. Also, when you
Yeah.
start lifting heavier,
Yes. Hmm.
that was definitely the same experience I got when I started to really, test my limits.
Hmm.
Because before I was always playing it safe because my body was always getting injured. I was always struggling with, not even mobility, but just rehabbing my shoulders, rehabbing my back, always going through some type of physical therapy, always going through some type of rehab to. All right, guys. So real quick, we're going to talk a little bit more about the boys over at Cannabolics. So Cannabolics, yes, you guys already know that I happen to also work with the company. Cannabolics, we are a cannabis specialist company that we specialize in everything cannabis from CBD to CBG to CBN to topical freeze gels to tinctures to go under your tongue to most important part, the chocolate bar that we have. I'll let you guys look at the website and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Go to cannabolics.org and use code Welshcare at checkout and you'll save yourself 10% off. Again, use code Welshcare, WELSHCARE at checkout for cannabolics.org, not .com, .org, and you'll save yourself 10% off. Let's get back to the episode. Rehab to cater to injury, and then I never really felt the same feeling I get once you really start lifting heavy. And for me, lifting heavy is with the kettlebells going up, past 100 pounds.
Wow.
Uh,
Amazing.
going up to, for the mace, going past 50, going up to 60.
Wow.
For Bulgarian bag work, going past 50. For sandbag work, going up to 250 now. Like that's
Oh
like
my
more towards
gosh.
the lifting heavy, like my type of lifting heavy versus the which when I did deadlift also, which when I actually experienced the very first time of like, damn, that like satisfaction of like, holy shit, like the very first time picking up 405 is just like,
Crazy.
wow. It's like, damn, my body has really just picked up like 405 pounds right off the ground. And for my body in particular, also being 6'3", like a body like Gumby, I, I got long ass legs. So especially pulling conventional, it's a mile to try and travel up my legs. So I try to stay away from deadlifting as much as with like the conventional style for now, like until I really not only a little heavier conventional. I want to say just because I've re-aggravated certain things when it came down to when I was lifting heavy like that versus when I'm lifting heavy with the kettlebells and everything else, where it feels like I'm not only just engaging that muscle group that I want to target, but other muscle groups like my lats. Like for example, when I'm uh doing the sandbag load up and carries, it's today in particular I did 200 pounds onto the shoulder and then walk
Wow.
down and back, and that satisfaction of like, wow, I didn't think I was going to be able to do that shit. And then it's like a next level of remembering. It's like, wow, that's what it feels like. It's just like like little mental PRs of just being able to know how strong you are,
Yes.
because then it really does convert towards building mental armor.
Yes.
And watching it when you talk around the right people, especially in our environment where we have access to so many people who are not only, I want to say, stronger than us, physically, but they're also stronger than us mentally. So then then becomes a community of like being able to rely on each other, and you're building a strong foundation around you.
Exactly.
Because you need a strong team.
Always.
Nobody can do this shit alone.
Yes.
And I say that part because you travel with a fucking team. You travel with a family. You travel with a whole. You travel with a whole army,
Yes, that's
basically.
family. Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like that nighttime crowd that you got, especially is it's crazy to see. It's just like the whole section of the gym just closes off basically, and it's just a strong showing of not only how you guys push each other, but you guys are also there to really support each other. So
Absolutely.
do you find that when you worked out by yourself, or if you worked out with a team, like what you find that you're working stronger now? You feel like you're working better, more efficient with people around you?
Absolutely. 100%. Like you said, I love that you said you can't do it alone, because I'm really big on a tribe. That's like one of my biggest mottos, especially finding the right group of people that I've found that they're like family to me, like the absolute most amazing people that I've ever met, and it's been really empowering to watch them work. And that kind of mirrors, we bounce off of each other, and that strength travels through energy.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I've just found so much support with the people that I'm around, and it's always reciprocated. You know what I mean? So that type of energy is so contagious. So ever since I found these people and we've all kind of pushed each other, you unlock a new level of strength mentally and physically. So we've all kind of pushed each other, and it's been really amazing. Such a cool journey.
It's also a different level of pushing.
Absolutely.
Like you feel like you could push yourself when you're alone. But I could also relate to that because when I go to places like the Strength Factory out in Baldwin, like shout out to Tom, he's been on here before, and I'm pretty sure I brought up this place almost every single time on this podcast, and I don't mean to, but it just comes up in conversation.
Absolutely.
But when you're around the group of individuals, like you're actually training around people that are really, especially in the same manner. Like training next to Tom is a whole different level of just you looked at it, it's like how, like you question like the level of strength, and then you question the level of grit, and it's like it's motivational if you have the right mentality.
Absolutely.
Some people will get discouraged, or some people will
Yes.
be like, oh man, I can't do that, why would I even do that? Meanwhile, I along with yourself and then the right individuals with the right mentality look at it as like, wow, can't wait to be able to get to that level.
Yes, you can appreciate it.
Exactly.
Yes.
it comes back down to that gratitude attitude. It's just like not only just you're thankful for another day, but you're also thankful for the lessons that you're able to create for yourself. Because like yes, we all graduate from school eventually. We all graduate from some type of certification and everything else, but the lessons never stop.
Mhm.
Like it's endless education once you are past your part. Like everyone thinks like, oh, just because I graduated school, like now I don't have to learn anything else. Like no, there's a whole world for you to learn from here,
Exactly. Yep. You're a student all the time.
especially in the fitness world.
Hmm.
In the fitness world, you got how many different ways to train. You got how many different certifications. You got how many different types of trainers. You got how many different types of classes.
Exactly. It's an art. All of it is an art.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So you can always either learn something new or advance your craft or do something that's also going to benefit your main craft.
Hmm.
Like uh this has having a conversation like this has helped out not only, getting people more, I want to say, allowing people to really go into detail when they don't want to go into detail in person. Like this is an opportunity where people can say like, okay, you can watch this video and it'll just answer all the questions that you may have. But then this is also now an opportunity for me personally, to work on my vocal skills when I'm working with people in general in person. Like just working on not only just regular conversation, but just working on not using the same words multiple different times, not trying to keep up the same conversation, not repeating the same conversation
Hmm.
over and over again. So it's in some ways it's also like I'm doing my own type of brain training at the same time, but it doesn't feel like it just
Yes.
because the conversations I've been having on here have been so raw and natural
Hmm.
and really easy going. Like there really hasn't been a time where it's like there's been like more of like a dead silence for longer than maybe a millisecond. So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
But that's also shows me that like I have the right people that I'm bringing on also, because I have people that request to come on, and it's like no disrespect as well, but it's like what you're about and everything that you promote, I necessarily am not, and I'm not about to put someone onto the show, or so even as minuscule as I have it here, I can't find myself having that type of conversation with somebody with what they promote.
I respect that.
So there's certain things, and obviously it's like I get the eye all the time for the shit that I promote, especially when it comes down to the cannabolics.
Cannabolics.
Yeah, thank you. It's like it's so annoying
Mhm.
when you can just educate people on the proper uses on not even just like cannabis in general, but just you get demonized so fast.
Yes.
So certain things that what people are about right now, and I can't find myself having the need to ask them questions. It's like I already know what you're about. I see what you're doing. It's not like I'm learning anything new. Like
Yeah.
I see what you like. Sorry, it's like I don't care how many people that are watching. It's I'm having a conversation.
Yeah.
So what I'm not going to waste my time because my time is the most valuable,
Absolutely.
the most valuable
Mhm.
currency that I have in my excuse me, the most valuable currency that I have in my life.
Mhm.
Money will always find its way back. People can always be replaced.
Yes. Mhm.
Family is my family. When it comes down to time, I cannot get time back. So
Mhm.
I'm not going to waste my time an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, however long some podcasts can become with someone that I'm not even interested in having a conversation with.
Right.
It's 5 minutes of with somebody I'm like, oh my God.
I'm the same way. You feel
Especially
the energy draining out of you, right?
how many people complain, especially in the gym.
Oh, listen, I
Like,
hear it all.
because it's also like we don't mean to be mean people or rude people, but because we also are very understanding, because we also do understand mental health at the same time. Certain people complain about certain issues, like certain things. It's like I question not only like you're going to go to Taco Bell and McDonald's right after this, like work out. You're going to go out to the bars immediately and drink your life away again. You're gonna make the wrong mistakes, hooking up with the wrong person
Yep.
and make the worst memories when people who are literally giving you the warning, the heads up, hey, you should not do that because I've already lived that life. but to teach his own, just because some people are going to learn from their experience.
Yep. Yep.
So
You can't save nobody.
no, can't save them all.
Yeah.
You could barely even warn them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yep.
it's, and especially in today's world, it's so easy to see what not to be doing, just because it's all demonstrated literally every single day through social media.
Yes, exactly.
It's scary.
It's very scary.
It's scary.
Very scary. People always ask you, I'm sure you get that a lot too, like, how do you do what you do? Or like, how do you stay consistent? Then you look at their lifestyle and you're like, well, it doesn't add up. You know, you want to do this here, but what your actions don't line up. You know, you're out there drinking and doing all these things and spending your time with the wrong people, and you want to achieve this. Like, you can't do that. Those things don't make sense. So I'm sure you get a lot of that too. People ask you, how do you do what you do? And you're like, well, not like that.
No,
You can't be doing all that other stuff. You have to focus. You really have to focus.
no, exactly. It's like, where are you using your time? What are you using your
Exactly.
time for?
Mm-hmm.
You literally walked past my gym. Like, you walked
Amazing.
right past where I worked out and where all my other videos that I put up for the content.
Yep.
I can't wait for the day that I can officially hire somebody to run my social media and not have to deal with half the things I see or half the people I deal with on there. Because if it wasn't for actually the social media bringing in some type of a revenue or some type of income, gone. You wouldn't even catch me on the map anymore. When I was younger, yeah, I fucking loved it, but it's just so depressing now.
Oh yeah.
It's genuinely so depressing. You got all these 15-second clips of these depressional motivational videos that are the same fucking videos every other, especially in the fitness community. It's gotten so bad. It's gotten
Yes.
so
It's
bad
very
when
saturated.
exactly. It's what oversaturated is not even the word
Oh
for it.
no, that's an understatement.
It's a full understatement on that. It's just as much of an understatement as these people who are doing it for all the wrong reasons.
Oh my gosh.
I want you to talk a little bit more about that, because you did the fitness game for yourself.
Yes.
We're in a generation where people are doing it for the content.
Yes, exactly.
Talk to me a little bit more like what you see when it comes down to that world.
Okay. Thank you for asking that question, because I'm really passionate about that, especially seeing, I know everything changes from generation to generation. I've been doing this for like 7, 8 years now. I've created content since 2014, 15. So I've seen
Wow.
this change so much, you know, I've seen it all from, I literally started posting on Instagram when you couldn't post videos, like when you could only post pictures. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this for a minute, you know what I'm saying? So back then we weren't posting for views because that wasn't the objective. The objective was, I want to post this picture because it's cool. I can put filters on it. It was really cool, just organic and real. We didn't go in the gym to film our videos and to get likes on it. We weren't going to the gym with the idea of, okay, I have to post content. That wasn't the point. We went to the gym to put in the raw work, and you couldn't see it behind the screen. You probably saw a picture or two, but you couldn't see the process.
Yeah.
So we were in there hustling, grinding, but not for you to see it. But that's for me, you know? But now you find people that literally start fitness accounts just to blow up, you know, just to get views. So the content's not organic anymore. It's, I'm going to post this so you could view it, click it, and I can get pop on the algorithm. So that's the whole idea now. Not everybody, I don't want to just demonize what the fitness culture is now, because it has changed a lot. But I find more that people create content to kind of like, it's like a cookie cutter template nowadays. That's what it is. That's why you see the whole motivational crap. It's 15 seconds long and everyone clicks on it and it's like, oh my God, this is so cool. Because you see it over and over and over again. You see it on TikTok, you see it on Instagram, the same content, different person. That's what it's become.
Yeah.
But it gets clicks and it gets views. So that's why people do it. It sucks because it seems like the organic reason why people start training is no longer like, I want to be healthy. It's more of like, I want clout on Instagram, or I want the views, or I want the clicks. So I always tell people when I meet them, I'm like, do it for the right reasons, you know? Don't do it to get back at your ex. Don't do it to seek revenge. Don't do it.
Fucking right there. That part right there is so fucking annoying. It's like, do it for you.
Yes.
Do it for you,
Exactly.
not for somebody else, not to make a revenge bond, not to get, no, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. You literally sparked. Oh my God. Okay, I can say so much with that one right there. I mean, granted, like I'm semi guilty of it also, but at the same time though, I felt myself slipping and say, oh, I'm doing this for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
Let me
Yep.
wake up and do this for actually do this for myself. And that's when I started seeing max results from everything physically, mentally, and spiritually, everything else.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm sorry, continue.
It's okay. I love it. I love the enthusiasm because that's one of my biggest pet peeves. I understand it though, because we've all been young. We've all been like 21 before, like trying to get the revenge bod. But I always tell people, like, I always tell them, check yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, check your intentions, check your motives, make sure this is something you're doing for you. Because at the end of the day, that person's not going to give a fuck. Can I curse on you?
No, yeah,
Like,
you've heard me. I've said fuck shit and everything else on here already. So yeah, this is ready to go. We're way past 30
okay,
seconds.
good.
It's
At the end of the day, that person's not going to care. And people on Instagram are going to come and go. If that app gets deleted, none of that matters. That shit
Mhm.
could go tomorrow and that won't even matter. So you have to make sure you're okay with you at the end of the day. So I always make sure I tell people that because it's frustrating now that social media is it's overly saturated with the whole fitness content that people just do shit for the wrong reasons. And you could tell. And it's kind of cringy and corny when you see that. And I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
why? Why? Just do it for you. Just be yourself, bro. Like you don't have to do all that extra stuff. Just be you. So yeah, it's definitely interesting seeing how the app has changed over the years, and how people have just taken a different turn with it. Granted, there are positives to it. We see a lot of people sharing their stories, you know, a lot of
Oh yeah.
people that have inspired other people to get on to just be healthier, to um yeah, you know, you see it a lot, but at the same time you have both spectrums, you know. So it's a curse and a blessing.
So there are good parts to social media.
Yes, absolutely.
As far as like actual also being able to build a community,
Hmm.
but you're also able to learn from people as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially for me when I had to really tighten up my mace swings, or I really had to tighten up my kettlebell swings, or anything to do with just the unconventional training in general.
Hmm.
Not a lot of people on Long Island even know what the hell I even do in general.
Hmm.
So, like before I showed up to Unique, they didn't know what mace training was.
Wow, okay.
They didn't order any maces. Like I was actually able to link them up with not only maces, but I'm also able to hook them up with the sandbags as well
That's amazing.
because of the community I built on Instagram.
Hmm.
Between White Line Athletics, shout out to White Line Athletics, and shout out to Freedom Strength, which shout out to Freedom Strength. And then of course AdX Clubs. Donnie, you've already been on here multiple times. Love you to death. Thank you for everything. Uh, that it allowed me to really not only open up people's eyes towards multiple different rounds of training, but it also created. How the fuck did we get this part of the conversation?
We're talking about social media.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
social media. So if it was that's part. So if it wasn't for social media, if it wasn't for actually being able to connect with them through the apps, it would be I wouldn't be exactly with where I'm at today, and
Mhm,
nor with my ability to connect with who I can connect with now. Thankfully,
mhm.
I wouldn't have met Tom. Like I met Tom through Instagram, and
Wow.
then now the fact that I consider him a good friend, and also somebody that I look up to, and someone else that's also doing something that I want to do
Mhm,
because he's also around my age group as well.
mhm.
Someone doing better than me. So why would I want to be jealous of that shit when I'm more motivated by it and actually
Exactly.
want to be where and eventually a day where I'm in his shoes where I can say I own my own facility. So
Wow, that's amazing.
it's the things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it comes back down to that circle.
It's all perceptive. You know what I mean? It's how you view it. Because I think with anything, there's positives and negatives. But I think with the movement that we're creating, it's something so positive. So if you're passionate about what you do, it's going to translate. You know, all that other stuff, it's going to fall off. But there's longevity in staying true to yourself and being passionate in what you do. You
Oh
know?
yeah. Oh, geez, that's an understatement when it
Mhm.
comes down to this, especially training.
Absolutely.
Like,
100%. It'll show. It all shows.
oh, this has been now what? Creeping on. Yeah, this is 5 years now of me taking personal training serious.
Awesome.
It started 5 years ago, just because I lost some weight and I knew some stuff about the gym, so like why not? Made maybe $60 to $70, maybe even $95, maybe $100, maybe every 2 weeks
Wow.
when I first started this.
That's passion.
So like, now it's like when I could say that I could charge that for a single session and then some in general when people want to stretch, when people want to uh get additional nutritional advice or get additional supplement advice. Like, yes, I'm gonna hook people up with the basic stuff, but then when it comes down to like really picking my brain, it's like, okay, like I know my worth because I've been in this industry long enough and I've been
Absolutely.
around the right people
Mm-hmm.
also.
100%.
And that's around your, and that's what you got also. You surrounded yourself with the right people. So coming from especially as flaky and fugazi some of these people in the gym can be when it
Mm-hmm.
comes down to their attitudes, what they may show at first versus how they truly are. How have you found that working with your team or building your team in general?
Mm-hmm.
How was the process of building your team to get so comfortable around the people that you're comfortable with now?
Okay, so we all met in the gym. We all met doing what we love, and it all happened really organically in the sense that we all kind of noticed how passionate we were. We all met literally while we were training. It's crazy. One of my friends, Mike, shout out to you, Michael. I met him when he was 14, 15 years old, and he was on the football team in Islip.
Wow.
He was just, we would talk to him every once in a while. Hey man, how you doing? Whatever. And now he's literally one of the strongest powerlifters on Long Island. So I met
Wow.
him when he was a baby. He was just going to the gym to kind of like just figure out what he wanted to do. He was on the football team, and now coming from that to this is so amazing. But he was, I'm sorry,
That's okay.
but he was passionate, and that's all that mattered. And he saw me and Chris. Shout out to you, Chris. And we all just connected really well. My friend Brian also, we met in the gym, and he's like, "Hey, I want to get a workout in with you guys," and we instantly clicked because the passion was there. And something we had in common was the passion for mental health as well. So it
Mm.
all kind of always comes back to that groundwork.
Yep, it's full
Always
circle.
full circle every time. All of my friends have been very transparent about their mental health, and it's helped me to also be open about it, which has connected us on a deeper level. So that bond is deep for that reason. It's deeper
Mm.
than just the weights.
That's a that's right there. That's a statement that people don't understand what also the gym community can be
Yes.
when you find the right people because it's okay. When it comes down to finding the right people, you know exactly. You just know when it comes down to like the people who are especially when they were expressive of their mental health, when they are very expressive of who they were, who they are, and how they are a better person now. Those are the kind of individuals that you can definitely, spend more of your time with around in the gym.
Absolutely.
Not the individuals who are gossiping about what happened last night. Not the individuals who are bragging about what happened on TV show. Like, granted, like yeah, just having like conversation while you're working, but I'm not talking about like I'm talking the ones who just sit around the machine and just talk and just sit on their phones. They take the pictures. The ones they go to the turf, they hog up half the turf, and they maybe do 1 or 2 reps of the actual work, and then they're all just in there stretching and foam rolling, and it's been 45 minutes and they barely have done a single thing. Those are the kind of individuals where it's not only it's a creating an environment for individual like for people who consistently go to the gym. You're cutting out their time because some people really are only going on their dinner breaks, their lunch breaks. They only have 40 minutes. They only have 30 minutes to get this workout in real
Right.
quick and get out.
Mhm.
And it just happens maybe it's chest day and then you have your whole gaggle sitting on over there on 2 different benches and there's like 10 of you and you guys are just taking your sweet time in between each rep. But focus, do the gym for the right reasons.
Yes, exactly.
And you end up with the success that you have seen, not only just physically, but mentally as well.
Absolutely.
How important is it for somebody to really build a routine? Like I told you about before,
Mhm.
around like some people's routine is to go during their lunch breaks. How important do you feel is it that people build their routine around get working out or around the gym in general?
That's extremely important. First of all, no excuses. There's literally no excuses for not working on your body, not just for the excuse me, the physicality of it, but your health in general. So I think planning your meals accordingly, planning your schedule accordingly is so important. You know what I mean? If you don't have a structure, you're failing to prepare.
Mm,
And if you fail to prepare, you're not working towards your goals. You know what I mean?
hmm.
It all comes together. So having a routine is extremely important, not only for the physical goals, but for mental clarity as well. I find that I feel more confident when I have a structure in my life. When I don't have structure, I feel super insecure about myself. I feel uncomfortable and I don't feel my best self. So I think having structure is so important for confidence in general. Extremely important.
Yeah,
Hmm.
no, it's especially in the fitness world,
Oh yeah, 100%.
because when you start to really take this thing serious, because people and actually eliminate all your excuses.
Hmm.
If people find every which way to say like, oh, I can't make it to the gym, so maybe I shouldn't get this workout in.
Yes.
I've seen videos, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, while you're on vacation,
Oh yeah.
even. So to those individuals who just think of working out as like, oh, I'm just getting in shape for the wedding, or I'm just getting in shape for this vacation, or just trying to look lean for this summer. What is your advice to those to those individuals in particular?
So my advice to that, there's no longevity in just a short-term goal. You know what I mean? Excuse me. It's a great start to say, okay, I have a goal to reach.
Well, rewind that real quick. There is no longevity in a short-term goal. Damn, damn,
Dropping
damn.
gems over
You're
here.
literally dropping some serious gems, because your end goal should be longevity with that.
Absolutely. So you're cutting your potential short, essentially.
Mm,
You know, if you're telling yourself, okay, I want to do this by a certain date, you're going to get there. But what about after? You know, you don't want to just look at that picture and be like, oh, I worked out super hard just to take this picture and now it's plastered on the wall and now I feel like shit. That's not, that's, you know, that shouldn't be the goal. There
mhm.
should be longevity in your goals. And by doing so, you can't limit yourself. I always say we are limitless as humans, right? And you should think that way. You should think that there is no cap for your success. There can
Yeah,
always be more. You can always grow more. And the sky's the limit. So why would you tell yourself, I'm just going to get ready for the wedding or the birthday or the vacation? Because that's short lived. What about afterwards? You want something more to look forward to. So when I say push the envelope, I say don't create a deadline for yourself, create longevity for yourself. Continue working, and there's literally no limitations. You can accomplish anything and everything and beyond that. But you have to think that way. You can't just limit yourself mentally.
yeah. The limits are just nothing but just things meant to be broken, like records.
Exactly. Absolutely. 100%.
Like your limit is your limit temporarily.
Exactly. Like I hear people sometimes saying, "Oh, I hit 405. I'm good with that. I don't need to do anymore." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I just hit 415 and I want 435." You know, so there's something powerful about that, just always being hungry for more, a balance between appreciating how far you've come and always wanting more at the same time. You know, there has to be a healthy balance between that. So what I would say to those people is just break those barriers and those blockages and think beyond that. You know, take it a step further, push the envelope.
Yeah, no, that's one thing I've also started to do with my classes in general.
Hmm.
I started switching out the weights on them on purpose. Like in the
Mm.
middle of them, like, just ready to get a lift a kettlebell. Like the people grab the same kettlebells, the same weight every single week. It's like, no, no, no. No, no, no. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it, because then you guys don't see results. Then
Yes.
what does that do? That also makes me look bad, as far as like watching it happen, like knowing that you can lift heavier.
Mhm.
So it's on me to now push you a little bit and break that limit. One person didn't realize how, as skinny as she was, didn't realize that she was going to be able to lift a 150-pound sandbag
Oh
today.
my gosh.
Yeah, she
Wow.
scooped up the 150 and then she picked up one shot
Amazing. Oh my gosh.
150 pounds. So someone who is timid to even pick up the 50 pounds.
Wow. You see,
So
it's that mental barrier.
comes and I will switch up the weight without them even realizing. Like they'll ask, like, what weight is it? And I said, don't worry about it. Just lift it. Don't worry about it.
Thank me later, right?
Exactly. Oh, where am I going for the walks? How far are we going? Don't worry about it. Like, especially with the sled work, how far are we pushing this? Don't worry about it.
Hmm.
Just focus on the work. Your
Yes,
body is meant to break in certain areas to rebuild stronger,
absolutely. 100%.
much like the brain.
Hmm.
And that's where it correlates so well. It's because your brain is another muscle as well
Absolutely.
that is made to break down. Unfortunately, it goes All right, so we're gonna talk a little bit more about the number one way you can support this channel. That if you are somebody that wants to support this channel in any other way, aside from the views and the likes and subscribes, you can go to the Welshcare store sponsored with Amway, and you can order any of the products from gummies to natural vitamins to your day-to-day lifestyle utensils like utensils or utilities, day-to-day like type products from your deodorant, your shampoo, your conditioner, your hand soap, your detergent for your clothing, to basically whatever you need. You go to the Welshcare store, get yourself any of the products that you see here from behind me that you can find on there, over 1,000 products, and that'll be the number one you can support this channel. So yeah, go to welshcarestore.com and welshcarestore.com. No, go to Welshcare store link down below. I can fuck up my own commercial because I'm my own commercial. Go to the Welshcare store down below, and then you'll be able to order anything on there. If you guys have any questions about any of the products, shoot me a DM on the Instagram, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Let's get back to the episode. It goes through some horrific trauma, unfortunately. But then, much like with the human body, and when it comes down to what you're feeding it, what are you listening to? Who are you around? What are you doing to help yourself? Are you just listening to sad stuff? Are you just putting yourself through misery, eating away at junk? Are you just sitting in your dark room all day? Yep. Are you just isolated the entire day, listening, not listening on TikTok or on Instagram, just scrolling away? What are you doing that's actually not only repairing the damage that you're going through? I'm not here to say like, going through like the hard side. Literally went through a very traumatic episode myself this last July, almost a yeet creeping, scary that we're fucking creeping on. We're already in spring, fast times going Crazy. By. And the mental breakdown that happened afterwards, the rebuild was a whole different type of strengthening now. Mm-hmm. Because I actually, instead of this last time around where I just drank and then popped more pills and got around the wrong people and made my mental health worse, I actually got around the right people, actually vented out what had happened to the right people. Then the right people led me to even more people that were even a better solution to what was happening, and then guided me towards this route where it's like I've been blessed with opportunity to be around so many people, and my circle that's so small, but it's a circle that's stable. Yes. And that stable foundation then helped repair and rebuild, not only through working out together, but also being able to communicate proper emotional health towards each other. Absolutely. Where you're at mentally, like being as vulnerable as possible, because when you live that truth, and that's something that I fully learned from this book here, from Charlemagne the God Shook Ones, when you live your truth, there is no feeling of, oh my God, what's happening? What's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? It's like, what does this person know? It's just like, oh, this person already knows basically everything because I've said everything. Absolutely. I've said when I fucked up. I've said when I wasn't the worst human. I said all these things where I've made my mistakes. Not who I am today. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Oh, that's fucking. I'm getting got me fucking over communicating over here too. Damn it! It's supposed to be an interview from you. It's. Thank you so much. I appreciate the vulnerability. That's important for people to understand and to hear. Yeah. It especially more towards men in general, because that's when you're actually able to not only grow mentally as a man, but you're also then able to put focus into the right areas. Exactly. Being a man doesn't always mean you're bottling up everything and you're just getting through your day. No, being a man meaning you're actually being more accountable. Yes. Holding yourself to a standard and actually providing. Not just mooching, not just sitting around on your ass doing nothing all day, not just going from one house to the next house and the next girl to the next girl, like, asserting dominance by sleeping with as many of them as you want. No, so sorry, it don't work like that.
Yeah,
Like that's not being a man.
no,
Like bottling up those emotions, that's not being a man.
no,
You're not confronting yourself.
exactly. Yes.
Confront yourself and actually grow from
That's
yourself.
strength right there.
That's the true strength.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
the true strength.
Mhm.
Not just being able to live strong and having a masculine attitude.
Exactly.
No, hold yourself accountable, but also work hard.
Exactly. Those two can coexist. I
Yeah,
think society forgets that.
yeah. Like everything from being as emotionally accountable and being emotionally vulnerable, you can still be masculine at the same time.
Hmm.
You don't have to be just like not for nothing is also a soft generation of men as well who are very weak egoed and are also very, very pathetic and with how they not only talk but what their priorities are.
So,
So there's a whole lot of weakness that definitely needs to be strengthened up, but it doesn't come through bottling up everything. It comes through accountability, discipline, consistency, and not only that, but the most important one, patience.
yes, exactly.
Staying patient because when you're patient, you're staying committed. When you're committed, you're consistent. When you're consistent, you're disciplined. And you're disciplined, you're building your whole regimen from the ground up that's stable.
Exactly.
You're not building a flimsy structure that's meant to fall.
Exactly. In my perspective, I feel like a strong man that can lead needs to have these qualities. You know what I mean? A man is meant he's programmed and you know, he's programmed to lead. But in order for you to lead, you have to be strong. You have to work on yourself in so many ways, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And strength is not ego. That's not what that is.
Mm-hmm.
There's a misconception of that. So I really appreciate men that really put in that inner work, that really work on themselves mentally, that are putting in that groundwork to really be able to lead in the future or with whatever you want to do. I really appreciate that. It's awesome.
You hear that, fellas? To get an actual quality woman, you actually have to be a quality man.
Yes, you do. 100%. Not your ego won't get you very far. So.
No, no, that shit that
It's fragile.
it's sad because there are so much potential. There's so much potential in this generation of men as well.
100%.
Where yeah, they're putting focus into the gym to look amazing and to build these outstanding bodies that work so well. But again, it comes down to doing it for the wrong reasons.
Exactly. What's behind that body? What's behind it? All of that.
A lot of sadness. There's a lot of sadness behind them.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes down to a lot of these guys, like I'm not going to point out names, I'm not going to say who they are, I'm not even going to do
We know
anything
a
about
couple.
it. We definitely know a couple of them. But if you're somebody who like yeah, you built this amazing body and you're sitting there, also sad at yourself, you're mad at yourself, you're disappointed with yourself. What's the point of even having that amazing body if you can't even appreciate your own self at the end of the day?
Exactly.
Like I ain't got no six pack, and I'm fucking loving myself at the end of the day too because I
100%.
also love my food.
Yes.
I also
Yeah.
love my energy and what I put my energy
Yeah.
towards. Versus when I was also in their shoes and I was doing it for the wrong reasons, and I was wondering at the end of the night, why am I not feeling the satisfaction and happiness that I should be feeling?
Yeah.
Till I shifted that focus. So you hit so many nails on the head when it comes down to what actually is important in the fitness industry. But not only that, but what's also important in the mental health field as well.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna now hammer the head a little bit more when it comes down to the women aspect, just because there's so much just glute workouts. Like women are glamorizing just building a big booty, not focusing on actually building strong legs, not focused on building stronger mental health behind everything, building a stronger. What's the proper terminology I'm trying to say here with it? You're building just like a sturdy base.
Mm-hmm.
Like I keep bringing that back up, but you're building that emotional stable, sturdy base when yes, there are some amazing looking women in the gym that unfortunately were genetically blessed.
Yes. 100%.
So some women then get mentally set back and try to do the comparisons. So my thing is, what is your advice now to the women who may be doing the comparisons in general to how they look versus, I'm sorry,
Okay.
no, versus how somebody else looks just because they got genetically blessed versus how they look and they're having a hard time even just getting 2 pounds off or having a hard time gaining weight.
Yeah. So I've heard that a lot from women clients, just talking to people in general. People tend to scroll and they shame themselves for not looking like these women online, let's keep in mind people Photoshop their pictures, okay? So don't look at your social media and think I have to look like this girl that I'm looking at on my phone. It's you should never be comparing your progress to somebody else because you are not that person and that's your power.
Mm.
You know, you are not meant to look like that person because you are yourself. So you need to focus on maximizing your potential and your progress versus looking at somebody else. That's not you. You know, some people are predisposed to having bigger legs, bigger upper body, and they have a certain look to them. But I think when you focus within yourself and you really do the inner work and you realize that I need to work on me for me and stop comparing myself to everybody else, that's when you finally find that true happiness. Because a lot of women will work really hard in the gym, they look incredible, but they're not happy with themselves. And you wonder, well, what's wrong with you? You're perfect. What's wrong with you? You should be happy. You have a great butt. You have a
Mhm.
great body, but that's not sufficient, guys. There's more to happiness. Happiness doesn't start with your physicality. It starts within. You know, you're working on your wellness and physicality is a plus. It's a byproduct of the progress. You know, you should never be, that's not your end goal. It shouldn't be your end goal.
Mhm.
Your end goal should be really feeling happy within yourself, but that doesn't come from comparison. You know, comparison is going to kill your potential for happiness. So what I would say is really focus on, ask yourself, who am I? What do I want for myself? What do I need to get there? And really work on a plan for yourself and stop looking at other people on the internet because they are not you. And that's the biggest obstacle with women, is that we're never satisfied with ourselves. You know, you're happy with who you are, then boom, you see a girl on social media, she has big boobs, big butt, you're like, oh my god, I want that. You know, but you can't have that. That's not who you are. And women just spend so much of their life and their time wishing, I wish I
Mhm.
was that person, I wish I had this, but that's not realistic. And I think we have to get back to a place of being realistic with ourselves because society has become delusional.
Oh my God, delusional is an understatement.
Very delusional.
Oh, delusional is my, especially because the filter thing too.
Oh my
That
god.
that's what it blows my mind because you're
Yes.
gonna see these people in person.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you gonna throw on so many of these extra filters and Photoshop so much shit in general when you know for a fact if someone sees you in person they'd be like, huh, wait a minute, what the fuck?
It's a quick ego fix.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
like,
it is.
wow,
Yeah.
okay, so I totally feel better about myself now knowing that you look literally nothing like what I see in
Yes.
over on my phone.
And that's the problem. People can hide now behind filters, behind a screen. They can just say whatever they want and no one says anything because
Mm.
they're behind a screen, you know? So there's this layer of a safety net and protection behind a screen, but then you meet them in person, they can't even talk. They can't even have a conversation, you know? So it's again, it's that confidence level. It's deeper than just the internet. There's more to life than just scrolling, comparing yourself. That's not life. It's not reality. And I promise you're not going to find happiness in comparison, in scrolling on the internet. It doesn't exist.
I'm gonna find happiness anywhere on this thing. Like, if this is your source of happiness, that is very,
No,
very, very sad.
that could
Just
be gone tomorrow.
literally, like this whole that whole device and your whole social media, your whole page could literally be taken down. Much like what just happened to Teen Cannabolics. Like, unfortunately,
Mm,
Instagram
on some
and I
bullshit.
swear YouTube, please don't be you flagging or red flagging anything
No.
with this. But it's really annoying what the if for those individuals who didn't realize the Cannabolics Instagram was unfortunately taken down by Instagram, unfortunately for promoting cannabis culture and or just trying to it's basically Instagram trying to demonize cannabis and trying to so follow the new Instagram. I'll put it down below exactly in the description, well, as well as her Instagram and how you can get in contact with her. But yeah, that's just a little update on that. So I apologize for anybody who's been trying to get in contact through the Instagram. But that's the new Instagram will be down below for you guys to follow away. But uh, it there was the other thing. There was one other piece I wanted to touch base with you on. So the supplement thing. You talked about creatine.
Hmm.
Women are, especially women, I hear it a lot that they are too intimidated
Yes.
to even try creatine or even just try supplements in general because of the fear of looking bulky or the fear of looking, like a man.
Yeah.
Can you explain to the women, especially that may watch this podcast, just because they want to understand you a little bit better as well, why it is important for not only to proper not not only just for women, just for people to properly use these supplements, and to explain how it doesn't just happen overnight, like to get
Yes.
all these big bulky arms and to get everything. That is very, it's like a years down the road type thing, and that's
Yes.
even if you're trained. Yeah, you're gonna go into more detail with that.
Yes.
But
So I just want to remind you guys that supplements should be in addition to your nutrition. You should never replace supplements with, lack of nutrition, because it's not going to work. You need recovery, you need proper nutrition, you need proper sleep and hydration. Supplements won't save you. So just to preface it.
stop listening, Siri.
Serious talking to us.
Siri's literally listening in.
um so yeah, that's really important. um a lot of women, I've heard this recently too, oh, I'm cutting, so I'm not going to take creatine because I'll look too bulky. And that is just I yeah. I know. And it's like, how do you explain to people in a short way, like, that's not gonna happen, that's not how this works, you know what I mean? But unfortunately, there's this.
All right, guys. So we're just gonna take a quick break and talk a little bit more about the good people over down at Origin Main / Jocko Fuel. That's where you're gonna see the Jocko White Tea, Jocko Milk, Jocko Krill Oil, and all the other products you see behind me that are Jocko related. So the reason why I got affiliated with the company, it's an American-made company, from boots to jeans to gis to high quality protein to other supplements that are on the shelf to a very popular neurotropic based energy drink that is more so neurotropic based than caffeinated based. So if you guys are interested in any of those products, you can go to originmain.com and use code Welsh10 at checkout, and you'll save 10% off at checkout. Again, Welsh10, originmain.com. Use code Welsh10, 10% off. Let's get back to the episode.
There's this preconceived notion with a lot of things, strength training, with creatine, with even protein powder, that you're going to get too big. And that's not how that works, guys.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Creatine is extremely, extremely important. Taking protein is extremely important. I personally, I'll be honest with you, I don't take supplements. The only thing I take is creatine. I barely take protein powder, and I don't do anything else because I just don't.
Hey, just eat it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, my diet is mostly whole food, so I don't really feel I need to take supplements. But as far as the stigma behind getting too bulky or too big, that's not realistic, just because I've been training for 7, 8 years, right? And I still look feminine. I don't look like a man. I don't look like I'm a male bodybuilder. That's not how this works, and I train super hard. I train upper body literally a couple times a week. I train lower body super hard, and I've never really gotten to that point because that's not realistic for a woman. In general, we don't have that level of
Without genetic
testosterone.
enhancing
Yes.
hormones,
Yeah, I don't
and
take
maybe a shot in
steroids.
the ass, and then go the extra shit.
Once you do that, then maybe you could be fearful of that. But if you're a natural person that wants to just be fit and take care of yourself, you should never fear that. Um, just because you lift heavy doesn't mean you're going to become manly at all. That's not realistic. For females that are afraid of training upper body, don't. It's important to train upper body, because you just cannot build a lower body and lift heavy without training your upper body. It doesn't work like that.
Oh yeah, especially if you plan on doing like front squats.
Oh yeah.
Having to hold the bar up like
Yes.
this in general, like no weights, no nothing.
No.
Just hold the bar like this and the squat with depth.
Yes.
Not before 90 degrees. Like
No corner squats.
Like 75% of this gym culture.
Yeah.
Like, God, it's annoying. I love going, like breaking that boundary, ass to grass, bouncing back up,
Yeah.
and then being able to actually, squat even as long as my legs are.
Yeah.
I'm still able to hit ass to grass.
That's
So
important.
that's range of motion, that's mobility at the end of the day too. Hip health and lower back health and leg health, everything here. And for men, it increases your testosterone for you to hit your legs a little bit more often. So stop skipping legs.
You heard it here first.
Stop skipping legs. Stop. Anyways, so yeah, that's so important for women to hear in general, just because a lot of the the clients who I sit down with will be like, oh, I don't want to really lift over 20
Yes, I've
pounds.
heard that before.
I don't want to pick up, especially when I go to bring out like the 150 and the 125-pound kettlebell, and I say, just pick this up.
Oh no, no, no.
No, I'm too intimidated. And then they pick it up, and it's like, oh wow, that's like actually like pretty light. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, do you realize how like that's basically if you lift that more, you're gonna burn more body fat and you're actually going to build sculpted muscle.
Yes. And people don't understand that. You've heard that women say, I want to get toned up.
Lift
And
heavy.
yeah,
Lift
exactly.
heavy. There's no faster way for you.
Literally building muscle and toning up is synonymous. And people don't understand that.
Yeah.
I've heard women say, oh, I don't want to build muscle. I just want to tone up. And I'm like, it's the same thing.
Literally, you can also still hit your protein count and your partial carb count and your fat count with still being in a caloric deficit, caloric deficit.
Yeah.
Like not for nothing. Like I'm a steak eater. Like a good ribeye is anywhere between 32 to 45 grams, maybe even 50 grams of protein,
Mhm.
230 calories. I already got basically a big quarter of my protein in
Mhm.
without as many calories as may I say like having a burger,
Mhm.
because then not to throw you know burgers under the wrong rug, because I still enjoy my burger and everything,
Of
like a homemade
course.
burgers and
Uh,
everything else now in the air fryer. Is stuff it with
yes.
cheese in the middle. Forget about it. I got recipes for days that shit. But I'm talking about like just buying a burger where it's like 1,000 calories and you're getting maybe 32,
Mhm.
like maybe 32 grams of protein, if that.
Yeah.
So you could still be in a caloric deficit, hit your protein, build muscle, and burn body fat all at the same time. It's not impossible.
Absolutely.
Do it through supplements also if needed.
Mhm.
If needed, you can still do it like a giant protein shake also,
Mhm.
where it's like anywhere between 200 to 300 calories, maybe 500 calories being the max.
Yes.
And then with 20 45 or 40 to 50 grams of protein in that alone also,
Mhm.
then you have that with the steak. That's already 100 grams of protein.
Yes.
That's already half your protein intake. If you're somebody who is 200 plus, like, come on now.
Yeah.
Don't give me the
Yeah.
BS. I can't hit that goal because I can't get the rest of my calories.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. Definitely. People come up with excuses. That's what a lot. It's a lot of it.
It's so easy to now.
Yeah. Absolutely. Everything is an excuse. Well, I can't because of this. Like, you should show up and put in the work. That's my biggest thing. Just show up and do your best and be your best.
When the reality is, it's never been easier to get in shape.
Absolutely. 100%.
Between YouTube videos, like you don't have to hire a personal trainer. Like I'm a personal trainer myself. You guys know this. I will tell you, you don't need a personal trainer if you're somebody who can hold yourself accountable. If you're somebody who actually is capable of doing the work on your own and able to follow instruction through a YouTube video and actually able to hit your form, yes, I encourage that. Save your money, put
Yeah.
it towards something else. However, if you're that same person and your squat form is looking bow-legged, like your knees are going inward, you're going chest heavy, if you're somebody who's doing wide ass push-ups and thinking that you're hitting your tricep, if you're somebody who's just doing basically everything is all jacked up, that's a whole different story. Just so you know the basic foundation, hire them for a temporary time
Mhm.
and then grow from that. But in reality, it's never been easier between what you can watch through YouTube, how much equipment you can really get at your house, literally delivered to your front door, or how many other gyms are unfortunately, it's a very hard time for some gyms to stay open, so they're closing down.
Yeah.
So you talk to them about possibly even selling some equipment. You may even help them stay open, or you may help them, with an easier move.
Yeah.
So those are a couple of things where it's like it's again, never been easier to get in shape and to also hold yourself accountable.
Right.
Because all you gotta do is listen to the right things.
Mhm.
You listen to the right people, you listen to the right podcasts, you listen to the right, you surround yourself with the right people,
Yeah.
right music. You'd be surprised just how much easier it can be for you to stay consistent,
Yeah.
because you're feeding your brain the right knowledge when you broke it down.
Yeah.
It's rebuilding back stronger.
I think the common denominator with society in general now, not just through fitness, but in general, people just want things easy. I find that
Mm.
nowadays and people rely on motivation and not enough on consistency, and I think that's a key problem in society nowadays, where it's like everyone thinks it's just so easy. And people ask me, oh, but it's just easy for you. And I'm like, easy? I've been doing this for 8 years and I still struggle. I don't want to go to the gym every day. I'll be honest with you guys. I love what I do and I'm blessed and grateful. But some days I want to be in bed watching Netflix.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. But I get my ass up and I get to work, because consistency is going to be the key to your success. Making excuses for yourself that I don't feel like it, that I'm not my best today, you need to show up and put in the work. And that's the key factor.
Yeah, you're doing
Yeah,
yourself the disservice. You're doing
exactly.
yourself an
Yes.
injustice.
You cannot rely on motivation is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah,
It really
it
is.
really is. It's a fucking fake emotion. It's a
Yes.
fake
It's
feeling.
fleeting as fuck. It's gonna leave your body and then you're gonna be like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore.
It's literally like a 2 second pump. That's
Mm-hmm.
it from someone.
Literally.
They get 2 seconds and that's and I'm done.
Yep.
I can't. I'm fucking motivated. Then just like motivation. It's just like, oh, now I'm not motivated anymore. Now I
Yeah.
don't want to do it anymore. Like, no,
Exactly. You can't rely on that. You're not going to succeed off of motivation. You have to just get your ass up and do it. And people don't want to do the hard work that requires, to really build that goal.
and to maintain.
Absolutely.
Not only that, just
And
to maintain, it still takes hard work.
yes, it takes a lot. So I want to encourage people to, whenever you feel unmotivated, which is most of the time, just remind yourself that getting to that goal is going to require a lot more from you than just being motivated. It's going to require you to really put in the harder work, even when you don't feel like it. When you don't feel like going or doing something, you have to push yourself twice as hard, and you have to pick your hard. Do you want it to be hard and actually succeed, or do you want it to be hard and stay in the same place? Pick your hard. Which one do you want? Because they're both going to be difficult.
Yeah, no, yeah, at the end of the day, you're gonna have to deal with either or.
Exactly. There's consequences to both, so just pick wisely.
And which consequence is easier for you to not only sleep with, but is also for longevity.
Exactly.
Like
Yep.
all these people who are promoting not only just the party culture, but just how would I say manipulation?
Mm-hmm.
Because people made it so easy also for them to wear masks and to wear these fake ass disguises and to not live their truths.
Mm-hmm.
So when you find somebody who can actually, not somebody, when you find people who are that discipline, that are what you want to be, those, it's like that, it comes back that sounds like you're following and everything else. When people like, oh, I wish like I can get to that point. I wish I can get to that point. I want to get like you know, it's no wishing.
Yes.
It's no, there's no wishing. There's no overnight miracles. There's no just straight up. I was well, no, I can't say this because there's a lot of motherfuckers who got shit handed to them,
Mm-hmm.
and then that whole free thing, like that's the point I'm trying to get back to. Free thought and was really came back into it. You earned not only your strength, you earned your body, you earned it by actually putting in that work and commitment. So when somebody may be doing the cheating route and they're not happy, they're not, necessarily even anywhere near content with themselves in the mirror. When what would you say to those individuals who say maybe like are trying to find that easy route? They're waiting for that magic pill to come out. They're waiting because I would guarantee you in the next couple of years, one of these pills is going to be like just straight up like, here, really build muscle and burn body fat while also have a side effect of your liver shutting down and your kidneys being destroyed.
And they'll
also.
jump at it. They'll
Yeah.
be like, yeah, let's do it. Take it.
Yeah. But, so the individuals who are questioning like if they should go down that extra route of maybe enhancements, what is your recommendation for them if they're questioning if they should do it or not, or more in particular this is towards that younger age group, because a lot of brands and all that stuff they promote out there obviously on Instagram and all these other big influencers and are affiliated, and these kids 13 14 15 16 see all this and then they think, oh man, maybe I need to be doing all this. Maybe I need to
Yes.
be taking this extra tea. I need to be taking all these extra supplements. When in reality is your body already has all of that. Unless your doctor has at a young age literally said to you, you need to be taking it and you're prescribed it. Whole different story. But if you're somebody who's saying like, oh, maybe I need to be, if you're 15 years old, oh, I need to be taking creatine. I need to be taking CLA carnitine. I need to be taking uh citrulline. I need to be taking leucine. I need to be taking all these things and worrying about the supplements more than the actual work.
Mhm.
What is your advice to those individuals?
I would just remind people that doing the raw work builds mental tenacity. And that's something that's really important. Again, longevity is a really big topic for us today. And I think that's what it all comes down to, that you want longevity in what you do. And if you do things for the right reason, it just makes sense, right? You can't take shortcuts if you want longevity. It doesn't make any sense because when you take shortcuts, you hit a wall. That's literally what happens every time. And I've seen it over and over again where people just want things easily, whether it's fitness or not, both things, and it doesn't work like that. If you want something meaningful in life, you really have to put in the work, and if you don't and you take a shortcut, it's going to show in your. I've noticed, I'm sorry, I'm like all like
I don't care.
jumbled.
You're fine. That's like
But
that's literally what this sport is. It's like the freedom for you to just express.
thank you. I've seen people that take shortcuts and there's something that's missing mentally that you see in a person that puts in the hard work and that really, really prides themselves and taking that raw route. There's something special about their mindset, right? Because they've had to put in that extra work and go the extra mile to really build that mindset. Whereas somebody who takes shortcuts, you can tell that they're just not, the mental tenacity is not there as much. And it's really interesting to see. So I want to encourage even the young people to really put in the hard raw work because it's going to show over time. Whereas somebody who does take shortcuts and does things like the on the low and stuff like that, it's going to show in their personality, the way they speak to you, the
Skin.
thing, yes, the skin, the things that you do in general, it's all going to reflect. So just remember that if you want to be the strongest version of yourself, always take the hardest route possible because it builds resistance, it builds mental toughness. So that's really important to acknowledge, especially women. I want to encourage them not to go into a rabbit hole about this because I'm really passionate about
Yeah,
it.
no, you go.
But
Feel free to express everything you
I
need you
find,
need to.
especially with my clients, a lot of women, they're so quick to be like, I'm going to get my body done. I'm going to get a BBL.
Oh my god,
I
it's so
hear that
fucking annoying.
all the fucking time.
So fucking annoying. If
Yes.
it's not an easy fix, you know how many like deformities, or you
Oh,
know how much
yeah.
it's actually eating away at some people developing this flesh eating virus from this shit too. It's scary. It's
Insane.
terrifying.
And it's all based, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this probably, but it's based on insecurities.
Oh yeah.
A lot of insecurities. Because
Ooh.
if you're willing to go to that length to change your body and alter it in that way, you must have a lot of deeply rooted issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but I think that's the reality of it because it's just it's a shortcut. You could build your best body by training in the gym. And you're not gonna, again, me and Tim talk about this. There's no cap. There is literally we're limitless as humans. But if you're taking those shortcuts, you're not going to find out your potential because you're cutting your potential short.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot, like, I think about, imagine I got a BBL. I wouldn't be able to perform the way that I do and do all the athletic stuff that I
Just
do.
squatting over 350.
There's just no way. There's absolutely no way. Jumping and running and doing all these things. Your body is meant for these things. Your body is literally meant to 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 run, to squat, to do all these things, and you're cutting your potential short by taking these shortcuts. No negativity towards women that choose to get their bodies done because we all choose to do our own thing and whatever, that's your decision. But I just recommend young women to really work on your potential and do the best that you can to work on yourself mentally. And I guarantee you, if you're 16, 17, 18, 19 years old and you work on your mental health and you reconsider getting a BBL, once you get that mind right, you're not going to want to do it anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
promise you're not going to want to do it anymore because something switches in your brain where it's deeper than just the physical. You really want to work on that, the inner, and that it'll reflect on the outer. So,
Especially when it comes down to the anatomy for longevity in general
yes.
for women. Like you guys have to deal with a lot physically.
Yeah.
Not only through the monthly periods, but then when you have a child and the trauma that your body goes through when carrying a child
Mhm.
and then pushing out such child.
Yeah.
you got to be able to build a body that's also able to withstand all that and bounce back.
Exactly.
Like a lot of women, and I'm I can make I may personally catch a lot of heat for this one over here that are a little bit more overweight after having children, were women who didn't really take the gym more serious and take their fitness serious, because I personally have not only trained women who are either pregnant and working out in the middle of their pregnancy, but I've also have trained women who have come right back from pregnancy. Like there is one client that sticks out in particular that was is that unique, and she not only was taking class while she was pregnant,
Wow.
but then a couple of weeks after, no, let's say like a month or two after she had a child, and she was right back in class, and it was surprising. Like it made my head snap. I was like, wait, what the fuck? She's back already?
Wow.
Like, okay, like, oh, she's all right. She's here for work. Let's do this shit. And when the those are the women not only also then have a better relationship with their mental health, is what I find when I train them.
Yes.
Like being able to bounce back. It's not only just a physical thing, it's a mental thing.
Absolutely.
Like when you have that bounce back mentality, your body then it translates to your body as well. Like it'll go through that trauma, but it's nothing it can't bounce back from either.
Exactly. That's the beautiful thing about that. We're so resilient as women. Like Tim
Yeah.
said, like we literally are amazing creatures that give life, right?
Yeah.
And if a pregnant woman can do it, if somebody who's post pregnancy can do it, you can do it.
But yeah, but she may correct me if I'm wrong, because I know that she also watches the podcast. I think she did it like a mini marathon as well.
Wow. You are
So
amazing if you're watching.
yeah,
So
I don't want
inspiring.
to name drop, because I know I know some people don't necessarily like name
Yeah.
dropping, but yeah, it's for someone like myself. Then it also again comes back to the eliminating the excuses factor.
Yes.
When you eliminate every excuse, you're literally projecting nothing but success for the long road.
Hmm.
Not only for your physical health, but for your mental health as well. Because when you go through that hard work, that literal, like, not just do a couple reps and then get a couple of, just get the blood, just to get the blood pumping. Like, no, like if anything, do yoga at that point.
Hmm.
Do some yoga. Like, take yoga, take that serious, and do that 7 days a week. Not I'm just gonna do this real quick. I'm gonna do this like for just one set, and I'm just gonna do a couple of squats. Okay, I'm good to go. Especially in the social media world, when you
Oh
see people
no.
set up those
Yeah.
tripods, and just for that set, and they collapse the tripod, and then they walk away. Not the point. It's like
Yeah.
completely forgot again. A podcast brain fucking forgot what point I was going to with this. Fuck, what point was I going to with this? Son of a bitch. Oh God, this is what happens. Like I love podcasting also, but at the same time, it's like when I go into these long rants, it's just like, all right,
It's okay. The conversation gets deep. That's why.
yeah, yeah, it definitely does. But speaking of like the conversation now, the I told you before the three things. So then wrapping up episodes with this, and I'm getting some positive feedback with it. So I want to know, what are three pieces of advice that you have for anybody. It doesn't have to be fitness related, doesn't have to be mental health related, just three pieces of advice in general that you have for. All right, guys. So last thing we'll talk to you a little bit more about today is my boy Eric and his company Based. You guys already know Eric has been on this podcast. We've talked about Based before. We talked about the main product that he has, She Legit, that I have been taking now for the last 3 months or so, 4 months or so now. And not only has it helped the physical aspect of my body's, you know, ability to recover from the workouts and build muscle, but also a lot, a lot more clear mentally, and also just focused in general. So if you're looking for something that's very natural for your body to also aid in weight loss, but also aid in muscle development, but also aid in concentration, go get yourself some base. Use code Welshcare at checkout, and you'll save yourself 10% off also. Let's get back to the episode and let's finish off our conversation with Tom. You have for anyone that's listening in.
Okay. So my first piece of advice, which has been a game changer for me, is eliminate toxic people in your life. That's really important. When you're around the wrong people, you're going to inevitably go down the wrong path. And whether that's relationships or friendships, whatever it may be, if something is dragging you down or limiting your potential, you need to let those people go. It's easier said than done, but it's extremely important for your future, for anything you want to do in life. You're going to be limited if you keep the wrong people around.
Hmm.
I find, especially with relationships, people lose themselves in relationships and they forget about themselves. Yeah. I was guilty of it too. So
Yeah. Oh my God, I've lost myself so fucking bad with that. I've already said that story on here multiple times, but
yeah, 100%. It's easy to do that, and we're human and it happens, but it's important for you to reflect when even when you're in a relationship that you believe it's healthy, reflect every single time you can, just reflect and think to yourself, am I do I still do what I love to do? Am I okay with myself? Kind of like check in with yourself. It's easy to get lost in a relationship, whether good or toxic. So I think it's important to evaluate your relationships at all points in your life.
hmm.
Um, my second point of advice would be to always show up for yourself. It's been a theme. Bless you.
Thank you.
It's been a theme in my life this past couple months and in general. It's just to show up for yourself. Even when you don't feel your best, it's so important to show up and put in the work because there is literally no excuse. We are gifted every day with the ability to wake up in the morning, to be healthy. We are gifted the opportunity to take another breath. So that alone is a gift and a blessing. So it's important to show up. You're not going to feel your best every day. You're not going to feel ready every day or confident or motivated, like we were talking about. But just the fact that you're trying, that is enough. And that's going to add up to the final product. So that to me is really important, just showing up and putting in the work. Um, my third piece of advice would be to take care of yourself internally. I know we talk about the weights in the gym a lot, but mental health is extremely important, as if you haven't already noticed.
Oh yeah.
Mental health is the key and it's the foundation and it's the core and the root of everything. And if you're not okay mentally, you're not okay in any aspect. It doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter how in love you are, it doesn't matter what you have materialistically. If you're not okay mentally, nothing else is right in your life. And it's all going to collapse. So you need to really work from within and it'll all shine on the exterior. So just want to remind you guys that you know your physical vessel on the outside is not everything. There is more to life than just looking good and lifting heavy.
Hmm.
Even though the fitness world likes to make you obsess about how strong you are or how physically good you look, it's deeper than just that. And I've had that realization more than enough times the past couple of years. So I had that experience where I was really obsessed with just getting stronger, getting stronger. I hit a wall, wasn't taking care of myself. I was in a toxic relationship for many years and I wasn't checking in with myself and I hit a wall. So just remind yourself every time that your mental health should be your main priority and everything else follows with
Mm.
that. Mhm.
Mm. Love it all. Love it. Love it all.
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Now, what are three goals that you have right now?
Three goals. Wow, it's a loaded
Oh yeah.
question. Um, three goals. Let's see. I I want to become more confident in myself, mentally, financially, emotionally. Like I mentioned, I just came out of a long-term relationship, and that took a lot of toll on me. So regaining my confidence mentally, emotionally has been kind of like it's been a challenge for me the past couple of years. So that's something I'm really tenaciously working on, and that's really important to me for my success. I
Mm.
believe that if I don't fix that, my life will suffer in other areas. So that's my main priority right now, is working on that part of myself. So that's one of my biggest goals. And I'm so proud of myself for really honing in and really working on that so hard. I'm doing therapy, which has been super, super amazing. And the clarity has been amazing from that. Just diving into like traumas and stuff like
It's
that.
insane what therapy brings. Like
Oh,
what clarity really feels like after you've had like a session of therapy.
amazing. And it's like, it's things you already think in your head, but just speaking it out loud and getting that feedback is so amazing.
Hmm.
So I think that's important. And again, that's one of my biggest goals, is just feeling more confident in myself in that aspect. Because coming out of a relationship can be very like scary,
Oh
just
yeah.
being by, like, kind of finding your own solitude and being alone is very interesting.
Yeah, it is at first, but then you actually, that's when you find out who you truly are, though.
Exactly, exactly. So that's the blessing. It's the silver lining behind that. Um, the second goal that I want to achieve, I want to work on my deeper into my online business. I'm starting to do online coaching, so I'm excited to delve deeper into that world. That's new to me. I've always trained in-person clients, which is really amazing, but I
Nice.
want to kind of like reach more people and help more women. That's my demographic that I want to work on, just because like we talked about everything as far as strength and that I want to help a lot of women reach their full potential. Because I wish I would have had someone when I was younger to tell me like, hey, do this, or like kind of give me more of like a roadmap of how to do this. So
Yeah.
I want to help a lot of women during my journey. So that's one of my biggest goals this year. Um, the other one, should I spoil this? I would like to move this year
Okay.
out of New
Oh,
York.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's a big one. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a big life change that I want to make, either Texas, California, Florida. I'm not really sure yet. I'm kind of looking into different places.
Well, if you do go to Florida, let us know where, because I know for a fact that there's a Team Cannabolics down over there
Ooh,
over in Delray.
okay.
So Delray Beach, if you guys whoever watches in Florida, I know for a fact that we have a couple events down over there that we do, and that
Awesome.
there's the whole shop being set up down over there eventually as well.
Awesome.
So know that there's potential for growth with that as well
Yay.
if you were to go to Florida.
Yeah.
But also Texas ain't too bad of an idea either, just because the boys are now over in Dallas right now.
Ooh, okay.
So big things coming with the
We're
boys. Big things,
going.
big things with the boys over at Cannonball. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be a part of that
I
team, and
love
to
that.
also just now give other people the opportunity to really expand as well.
Yes, I love that. I'm so excited. That's really amazing.
Yeah,
Big moves.
big things. But
Mm-hmm.
that's incredible though. I had no idea that was one
Thank
of the
you.
things.
Yeah, I want to kind of switch up the tone. My parents moved to Florida about a year and a half ago now.
Okay, what part of Florida?
Tampa.
Okay, so literally the complete opposite side.
Yes. Yeah, so they really love it down there, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I really miss my parents, and I miss, like, I'm a family person.
Oh yeah.
So I love to be around my people. It's really just where I feel my best, and I really miss that. So it's been kind of a rough year and a half for that reason as well. So I just want to switch my environment and kind of change it up a little bit. And I used to think that I wanted to move out of New York to escape my issues and my problems, but I think I've kind of grown out of that phase where I'm really trying to heal from the inside out. And
This definitely doesn't sound like you're running from anything. It sounds
yeah,
like more just like you want to actually be around the family and be established with the family and connected
yes,
more with them. Like that's more admirable, and that's also more important as well, just because it's almost only so much time that you have with family.
exactly. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. It's kind of a long-term goal. I don't really have like a date or anything set in stone. I just want to see how this year goes.
Yeah,
Kind of like I want to take every opportunity I possibly can and really enjoy this year and delve deeper into just give myself what I deserve. You know what I
of
mean?
course.
Because for so long I kind of compromised my happiness just to be in a relationship. So I really want to
Now prioritize
just,
you.
yes, I want to be everything that I can be and show myself that I can achieve the things that I aspire to do. So
Awesome. And the last set of three. What are three things that you are thankful for?
ooh. I am thankful for my tribe, my team. I love them so much. That has been so life changing to have a group of people that really support you and love you for who you are. And I think everybody should aspire to have a group of people like that. You can't, like we talked about it, you can't do it alone. So that really has taught me the value of real love, like raw love. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like unconditional, reciprocated love. And that's been amazing to have around, especially during hard times,
Yeah.
because I don't know what I would have done by myself. Yeah.
Trust me, as someone who tried to fight all shit by yourself, it's not pretty.
Yeah, no, it's not.
It's not pretty.
No, it's easy to lose yourself like that.
Oh, that's an understatement.
Hmm.
That's such a. I really hope that more people take that part right there a little more serious, of actually establishing the people that you feel that comfortable like around, and being able to be that vulnerable around as
Yeah.
well, who are actually able to provide positive or provide any type of feedback that's going to aid you in some type of way,
Hmm.
or not just diminish you,
Hmm.
not just like brush off whatever is going off like on you and
Exactly.
then make it about them.
Exactly.
Like it's very easy to find those people as well.
Yes,
But
exactly. So that's really important to me. Um, Chris specifically has been really a huge, huge piece for me, a huge supporter, a huge just like always been part of my journey and helping me through everything. So I'm really grateful to have him in my life because he's taught me, he literally got me into lifting. Like he showed me my potential. And I think there's something so powerful about somebody seeing your potential and you acknowledging that and taking it to that level, you know. So he opened my eyes to this whole world of lifting and I'm really inspired by his strength as well. So I really want to show my appreciation. Shout out to you.
awesome.
Yeah. Um, so I'm also grateful for my parents. My parents have been so supportive during my journey. At first, they didn't understand why I was so passionate about lifting. I initially went to school. I wanted to go to school to be an attorney. That was my goal, I guess, because my parents wanted me to become an attorney. So that was kind of the where I was leading to in
So
college.
it wasn't really your goal necessarily. Maybe it was like their goal that they wanted
Exactly.
you to live.
Exactly.
Okay.
That was kind of their dream for me. And I was like, all right, I mean, I guess because you want to please your parents and
Of
stuff like
course.
that. And so I tried that and it wasn't for me.
That's what that route was over there. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah, that's what that route was. 3 years in my service.
Wow. You
That
were in
was
the
Army National Guard. I did 3 years as a
wow.
military police officer with them.
Awesome.
So yeah, I can fully understand because my entire life I was also in the pursuit of law enforcement as well.
Uh-huh.
The end goal was to become a Suffolk County cop, do 20 years, retire, and get the hell out.
Mm,
But that was also not really my goal. That was more of me just trying to please my father,
yeah.
who also just had conquered sobriety. So yeah, that was more of just like me trying to please them at that point. But once my contract had come up, and the opportunity to resign came, I realized that one, I was at my lowest. I didn't feel comfortable resigning because I already knew how I was looked at and treated at my unit for the mental health shit. So no, well, I was not really feeling re-signing a contract for temporary money,
Hmm.
like versus the time that I got afterwards, where I was able to really fully not only work on myself and rebuild, but like the $10,000 bonus or the $20,000 bonus, whatever it was at the time for me to re-sign, like that would have been taxed, and then like yeah, I would have gotten like a little $8,000 bonus, but then what would that would have gone to?
Yeah.
Like it's like the time that I got to not only study my craft for personal training in that time frame, the the time frame of being able to make the mistakes I make, but able to make those mistakes and turn them into lessons, and then those lessons eventually turn them into blessings because I kept the right mentality.
Absolutely.
So, like, yeah, when it comes down to that whole pleasing the parents part, like, I completely understand and completely relate to that.
Yeah. It's rough
Yeah,
because when you say I'm going to do something else, they're like, "What?" Like they just start to question you and they don't understand. So I totally get that. I'm not a parent, so I can't even I can't fathom wanting a child to do what you want them to. I can't imagine that, you know, but it's rough being in the position where you want to please them, but then you're like, I don't want to do this. I worked in a law firm briefly and I'm like, I do not want to be like these people.
yeah,
I don't want to live my life like that, you know? So I can't picture myself just going from the office to the courthouse to then back and just not living my life the way I want to live it. Um, in a way, also when you choose that path, if you don't love it, you're enslaved to it. You know what I'm saying? If you're not passionate, 'cause I know lawyers that are super passionate and I give them all the kudos in the world.
they love it.
Exactly. And I love that because they're passionate about it. They really love what they do. But there's some attorneys that really do not like their career and what they do. And it's sad because they're imprisoned by their career. They're not happy with it. You know, so there's a difference there. And I respect, you know, the fact that people love what they do. That's important. But I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. I didn't want that path for me. And my parents were like, well, what do you mean you don't want to do it? Then what are you gonna do? Like, what else can you possibly do? I come from a Latino household where it's like if you're not a lawyer, a doctor, or you know, whatever, then you're not really doing anything with your life.
Very,
So
very familiar with the culture just because of where I grew up, and then also just who I was around growing up. Yeah, especially the that generation of Hispanic parents really only have one mentality just
yes.
because they work so hard to get to where they're at, and they
Yep.
don't want to see you have to not only made the mistake, but they want to see you in a career where it's like you're gonna make as much money as possible and all that stuff
Exactly.
that's stable.
Hmm.
But reality is like there's more value in being happy.
Exactly. And I can understand where the concern was because my parents, well, in general, when you have immigrant parents, they came here on survival mode.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? So for them, it's about the money. Like, what are you gonna do to make yourself financially stable? That's what their mentality is. Because when they came to this country, they're like, all right, hustle, 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 make the money, get the house, feed the kids. That's their mentality. So I can respect where they were coming from. I
of
totally
course.
get it. But over the years, they saw how passionate I was about lifting, about the gym, about making this a real career for myself. And they saw the passion behind it. So they really got on board with it and they really support me. They come to all my competitions. They actually built a gym in the garage for me. So that's where I train my clients from. So I
Nice.
actually work with my clients from my home, which is really, really nice. So they literally paved a way for me to do what I love. So when you do things passionately with the good intention, people really support you. So my parents have been really amazing in the process. So I'm really grateful for that.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
That was number three.
You said who am I grateful for, right?
Yeah, well, no, not just
In
who, just
general,
like in general, like what are you grateful for? Just like three things that you find yourself thankful for the most.
I'm grateful for movement. Like
Mm,
I said, that's been really healing for me. This is why like we relate on such a deep level. Just the ability to get up every morning and to just move my body is so passionate. It's so amazing. You know what I mean? You should never take that for granted. To be able to get out of your bed in the morning, to make yourself breakfast, to even just go to work, that's so amazing. And sometimes we get caught up on the little things, like the little inconveniences, like, oh, I'm late or this or that. Like just the fact that you're alive and you're breathing is so amazing and it's such a blessing. Some people don't get to see tomorrow or even
no,
today, you know. So I'm just super grateful to breathe and to move. It sounds super weird, but that's it's amazing. You know, we get to live another day. So I'm grateful to be able to do what I do every day, to be able to communicate with people and have a community of really amazing individuals. I never take that for granted. It's not about followers, it's not about what you look like or the how heavy you can lift. It's literally about just enjoying life, doing what you love to do, and embracing the day. So I'm grateful for
mm, damn, nailed it all. Like honestly,
that.
this has been a pretty wow. Like I didn't realize how much time we've been how much time had gone by.
Oh
Wow,
wow.
but wow. So with that being said, now you literally laid everything out on the table. I can't appreciate you enough
Oh,
for your
thank you.
time here.
Likewise.
It's been an amazing conversation as projected to be. Where can they find you? How can they get in contact with you if they want to get sessions virtually? If they want to just follow you around, where can they find you? All that stuff.
Thank you for having me, first of all. I really appreciate being on the podcast. You know, Tim is such an amazing person, and I'm just so
Yeah.
grateful to have these conversations. So just thank you for having me in your space. It really means a lot. So my Instagram handle is Jaycee Squats, Jaycee Squats. You can find me on Instagram, on TikTok as well. I'm working on my YouTube, so that's coming soon, but I do have a YouTube account, which is the same thing, Jaycee Squats. And my online training program is coming soon. I'm going to drop that in the next couple of weeks, so you guys can stay tuned for that.
I can't wait to hear it all. So seriously, appreciate your time. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Tim. Likewise. Appreciate you.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you reach every like every goal that you have and just dominate that and then have your next set planned.
Thank you so much.
And
I'm
I know
excited.
your grind never stops.
Never stops. No days off, baby.
Well, it's been Welshcare, guys. Appreciate
Thank
y'all.
you.